What's up everybody, and welcome to another edition of AGR's Pop Culture Reviews. Now those of you who know me personally know that I absolutely love me some Wolverine. Now back in the day when I first started collecting comics as a kid, I used to wonder what would Wolverine be like as a woman? And fortunately, Marvel answered that question for us. She also made her cinematic debut last year in the film Logan, easily one of my top 10 films of 2017. At an early age, Laura Kinney's natural human healing ability was forcibly activated by those scientists who were eager to clone the X-Man Wolverine. Her codename was derived from the 23rd attempt to successfully clone Wolverine. It's also important to note that she was actually the first female attempt at this. Very similar to Wolverine, her claws were extracted and then coated with the near indestructible element adamantium. As with any X weapon, she was trained as an assassin and sent out on various missions. Ultimately, she would find her way to Charles Xavier's School for the Gifted and would eventually become a member of the X-Men and the X-Force. So today it gives me great pleasure to be able to review Diamond Select Toys' version of X-23. Let's take a closer look. Now immediately when you take this out of the packaging, it is all presents. This is an absolutely gorgeous statue, mostly because of how badass it looks. And I have to admit, for this price point, there's a lot of detail here. The head sculpt in particular is awesome. I love the color palette here. Little crunch in the brow is menacing. I especially love the flesh tones, but most importantly, look at that little smirk she has on her face. And it's only complemented by the whited out eyes. This is awesome. And as you can see, obviously the costume she's wearing is a tribute to Logan. The midsection and upper torso of this figure is incredibly detailed, not only in the muscular structure, but in the overall sculpt. Just look at how beautiful that looks. Again, the color palette I can't say enough of. It looks fantastic. But just take a look at the sculpt in her breast area. I love the creases, particularly running down the middle of the actual abdominal area looks fantastic. Additionally, one of the brilliant design choices here is that they coated the paint job in a pearl finish, and as you can see, it has that beautiful sheen to it, particularly with the blue areas. This just looks great. The subtle accents here are also really well done, particularly when it comes to her belt. Just take a look at that nice brown offset against the blue and the yellow. It does look like a tan leather look, which is fantastic. And of course, we have that buckle that looks great, that X surrounded by the red circle. Awesome. And of course, we have the great debate about any character wielding adamantium claws. 2 or 3, which one is better? I guess that's a personal preference. Either way, one of the things you can't debate is how awesome the adamantium claws look on this piece. Fortunately, there are no quality control issues with this piece in general, but especially when it comes to the claws. First of all, the paint job looks great. We all know that it's PVC plastic, however, they painted it in a way that it looks like actual metal, which is fantastic, guys. This just looks great. I'm starting to see more and more subtlety when it comes to these pieces, and it's definitely represented here in her legs. They are muscular, but yet not over-exaggerated, and we really like to see that in our pieces, because, I don't know, it looks a little bit weird when they're all ultra uber-roided out. Now, here's the thing that is really impressive about this piece. Again, it goes back to the color palette. I love her boots here. Not only does it have those iconic pointy ears on the side, but also that blue offset against the yellow trim looks great, and again, very indicative of the 90s version of Wolverine. Now, I guess this goes without saying, but this is definitely a piece you want to mirror, because it's absolutely extraordinary on the reverse side. But you also get this really cool interplay between the reverse side of her mask and the diamondism in the hair. Just look at that sculpt, looks fantastic. And here was my criticism with the Silk statue. You see how they did this very organically and they didn't just chop it off? This is an example of what they should have done in the Silk statue, because this looks fantastic. Obviously, again, we're going to pay a little fan service, but most importantly, you get a real sense of how much detail went into this piece, especially when it comes to her belt and the real great paint job, which makes it look that much more real. Now, there are so many things to love about this piece, but easily one of my favorite things is definitely the base. It is literally a minuscule footprint, which is fantastic. It saves a lot of space. The design choice is really what matters here. It's an oblong shaped base which is slightly raised at an incline. Most importantly, the X is actually protruding from it, which looks fantastic and gives it a sense of real 3-dimension. I love the gold trim around the X, especially in the center where it's colored that nice red, and most importantly, it has those 2 notches in it to signify the adamantium claws that are now the iconic signature weapons of X-23. It goes without saying, guys, this is another easy one for me, and I'll go a step further by saying that this is absolutely a holy grail piece because it is so sought after right now, mostly because it is so cool, guys, especially for the price point. Also, you're going to have to stay tuned because we do have an update for this piece. We're going to have an exclusive unmasked version, which I'm really anticipating reviewing. So this is not the end of the review, guys. We have a continuation for this one. Now, before I go, I just want to thank the folks over at Big Bad Toy Store for sending this wonderful piece over for review, and if you're interested in this and other collectibles, please visit www.bigbadtoystore.com. Alright everybody, so that's my official review on Diamond Select Toys version of X-23. As always, I thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next AGR's Pop Culture Reviews.